It's the Attitude Era podcast. We are back with the weekly recap. What a crazy week in wrestling. But I got to do the intros. So we're going to start from the top left. That's over there. We got Gamaj, the silent assassin. You know what I'm saying?
The
He even
name
got the
for
mic on mute. You know what I'm saying? Then we got the greatest heel in podcast wrestling today, the Archie Carter in the building. Then a man who needs no introduction, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing you get when you introduce him, fingers up, fingers up. The podcast chief himself, DNA, is in the building. You know what I'm saying? And last but not least, certainly not from A to Z. Today it's Break a Wish. All your hopes going down the drain. It's Z, the dropout, aka Break a Wish. We are in the building.
You're not going to introduce yourself, nigga?
And of course, as usual, Mr. Sippable, you know what I'm saying? The guy with 101 cups and still sipping, baby. King HP as well.
Always got 7 beverages nearby, man. 7 beverages.
Always.
But how y'all been? It's been a crazy week in wrestling.
Crazy week in wrestling, man. Where do we? I say, let's get things going, man. CM Punk's favor, man.
That's right. CM Punk's favorite. He said it wasn't. Everybody was kind of saying that it was going to be the main event, and then he said it's not the main event, and they're kind of holding on to that because I think that's a great main event for day one. By the way, we could talk about the controversy of that, but I think holding on to that as the storyline is going to be good. Do y'all have predictions what you think the main event is? I'm wild. I think it's going to be I need you to get me into that Cena versus Cody Rhodes match, and then it's going to be a triple threat out of nowhere.
Nah, I don't think that's going to be a triple threat because you already got The Rock looming around in that situation, and you got Stone Cold looming around in that situation, which is in some way they recreate last year's main event with the Avengers Endgame type thing, except this time it might only be The Rock and Stone Cold. For me personally, I think the favor is, bro, it's time to go, man. Like the favor is, I told you. You know what I mean? You got to become my manager. You got to become my wise man. Because you see, he didn't even like that Roman Reigns made CM Punk acknowledge him. Like, he's bugging. Why was he even over there shaking his head? Like, bro, everybody's supposed to acknowledge Roman Reigns. Like, he's tripping.
I could see Paul Heyman doing some sort of turn during that match for sure. I could definitely see him turning on one of them.
I think knowing Triple H, this is Triple H's bag. This that long-term booking. I think he's holding this to when the ratings might be slipping or whatever. Because one, that belt at some point has to come back to Roman Reigns. That belt has got to come back to Roman Reigns. And I think the favor will be cashed in then. One, we'll think it's for him to get a title shot, CM Punk. And two, it's going to be for him to do a Paul Bearer-like move. He's about to lose that. The favor is going to be make sure I do not lose this match. And it probably take place at SummerSlam. Same place where Paul Bearer took out, you know what I'm saying? Go top
SummerSlam
10
is in
heel
Jersey.
turns.
Here's my thing, and I'm probably going to say this a lot during this recap. I don't know. I'm more confused this week than I was last week about everything.
I'm with Archie on that.
I don't know if that's good or bad going into Mania season, but I don't know.
But I feel like a lot of that Triple H era booking is kind of like that. Like even the Cena heel turn when he joined Rock, no one thought it was like, you know what I mean? It's like Jey Uso winning the Rumble. It's like I still don't know why Jey Uso won the Rumble. I don't know. They got Gunther overseas fighting with CM Punk and everyone else, but it's still Jey. So
I will say this though. After seeing how they set up that triple threat match, I do believe CM Punk is winning now.
See, if CM Punk wins,
it's because Paul Heyman.
Yeah, and then
the other side, I feel like
even more him getting in the main event of the next night.
Yeah, CM Punk. I got CM Punk winning. What I don't understand, and we could talk about that later, but I'll just chime in because you said that, Z. I don't get how both Royal Rumble winners are not the main event at WrestleMania. I have definitely gotten old. When I used to watch wrestling and you won the Royal Rumble, you closed the show at WrestleMania. It's like it's demeaning the point of winning the Royal Rumble. That's why I said the way I figured it could be booked was Cena wins. I mean, he's headlining. This guy won the Royal Rumble and he might open the show. It's crazy.
That's what would have made sense for Cena to win. And, you know,
he could have still did the heel turn at Elimination Chamber.
And they could have still given Jey Uso Gunther without that Mania. They just kind of went for a shock moment.
It demonizes the Rumble when you have two people now that win the Royal Rumble and they will not be the main event at the biggest show of the year.
I mean, I'll be real. I never thought Charlotte versus Tiffany was going to be the main.
No, of course not that one. But I'm saying, and this is the thing I'm saying. I get why it's not the main event. I don't think Jey Uso and Gunther should be the main event over the two main events. But what I'm saying is, if that's the
coming
case,
from an honorary Uso.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just the story. They did bad with the story.
Look, this is coming from. We got the honorary Uso Jacob signature right there, bro.
You got it.
Yeah, like me, I just feel like then he shouldn't have even won because like it's not strong enough to be the main event.
But that's what I was saying. Like, you know, Gamaj agreed. Like, it's a difference between being unpredictable, which I thought the Triple H Paul Levesque ever was in the beginning. Like, you didn't know. But being unpredictable and not knowing is two totally different things. Like, I think WWE gets stuck in what's hot at the moment, then they make a hard turn. That's like when Otis won Money in the Bank, then it went nowhere.
Yeah,
exactly.
And
that's the thing. Like, the previous era, say what you want, the McMahon era, obviously, last shit, but he stuck to his guns no matter what. Like, it didn't matter and usually, not all the time, but there's a lot of times where in the long run it kind of did pan out, like Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, right? So Triple H tends to go way more for like trying to please the fans in the moment, like instant graphic, which is, I think, what the Jey Uso Rumble win was. And I like Jey Uso, but I think it ultimately fucked him up to give him that win, and now he's second fiddle on whatever day he's going to be on. There's no way he can get a big moment now.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. This is gonna hurt, but I think it just needs to be said. Jey Uso ain't even second fiddle, bro. I don't. When you look at the cards, I don't think all the matches are announced yet, and I don't know if he's gonna fall into like the co-main event type of deal. But it was wrong of WWE to give Jey Uso that world title shot right now going into WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is known for your biggest matches, and Gunther versus Jey Uso was never a big match. It's good for Raw. It's good for a storyline down the road. To just win the Royal Rumble and pop up and start pointing at the sign. In fairness to WWE, right? They got to change their verbiage. What I mean,
cut that out too. It's too much damn sign pointing.
Everybody pointing at a sign, but WWE there's over half the WrestleManias where the Royal Rumble winner did not go on to headline, and they kind of like sneak it in there because you're like, when, and it's like, damn, y'all remember Lex Luger? Lex Luger was out of there. Remember he lost to Yokozuna? You remember when Shawn Michaels won? He was number one all the way down. Bam Bam Bigelow and Lawrence Taylor closed the show.
Remember when Shinsuke came in super hot?
Yeah, they've actually had a feud. This ain't a first. It just feels like, it just feels like it is though. But when you look back at the, you know what I'm saying? Remember when Stone Cold won in '97 and he screwed Bret Hart? They didn't main event. They didn't close the show. It was Undertaker and Sid. Like they Randy Orton, Alberto Del Rio. Like Jey Uso can't close the show. He sells the merch. He's good at that. He's the Ultimate Warrior in 2025.
We grew up in the era of superstars. When you saw a superstar, you saw a superstar. Now we're in the era of the social media superstar. And that's what the problem is. They want the clip. They want the 5 million views on a clip, but it negates the actual thing of what it means.
Even still, because I'm not going to disagree with you, but how many highlights have you seen of Jey Uso in the last year? like on social media. They've been CM Punk went viral for his comeback. Him and Roman Reigns and the thing. Joe Hendry went viral.
You
You know what I'm
see
saying? They
Jay
never really,
Uso, but you only see the entrance. It's not matched.
but that's not a clip. No one clips that and puts that week to week. The week to week thing is just not Jay Uso. He just sells the merch. And I think WWE rode the wrong wave because there's no long list of Jay Uso impressive matches. Gunther has them, but Gunther's
See,
title
I
run has
agree
been
with
worse
that.
than
Bro,
Cody's.
Jay
Yeah.
Uso lowered Gunther's stock. He kind of, but Gunther's title reign has been a
Don't do that.
mess.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's been a
He
flop. I would,
bro, it's
he-
not, bro. I fuck with Jey Uso. I'm a Jey Uso fan, but this, I don't even get where Gunther's really at. He's getting smacked by Jimmy Uso, and he's like fighting random people across the seas. Like they fucked Gunther
you
up
know
a
what they
little.
could do to turn it up? Add a stipulation to it. You're gonna have like all of a sudden you want to do this. It's a submission match because you can't wrestle, and now Jey Uso has to not only beat the guy he already thinks he can't beat, but you got to put on a technical clinic to do it. And now Jey Uso gets to really get in his bag. And I think that stacks the odds against Jey Uso, and it develops some interest.
As much
And
as
now
we
when Jey,
like to talk and fantasy book, bro, there's nothing we can do or say to make this match any better. It is what it
He's
is.
about to win. He's about to win, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good moment and shit. It's gonna be dope. It just
It
shouldn't have
just
been
is
right
what
now.
it is.
Yeah, Cena should have won that Rumble, and I said it from the beginning. Do you remember we did the recap right after? I was confused.
I said I thought Cena should have won the Rumble, man. And I was like, you put Jey Uso in the Elimination Chamber, he wins. He still gets to challenge Gunther. And not trying to be funny, it sounds so crazy when things happen in the timing. Because that would have happened in March, I think they would have had a better promo run, and I think the match would have been more anticipated. Because I still believe that because he won the Rumble, that still looms over people's excitement too, because nobody wanted him to win.
If Cena had won and beat
Yeah.
Gunther, would that count towards the 17, him winning that title?
Nah.
yes,
not
I
for me.
think
yes, it does.
I
I
think
mean,
it
It still
would have.
does.
I'm saying they could count it. I don't count it. He got to take that off Cody.
He said they can count it.
They
I
can
don't
count
count
I
it.
don't count it.
No, that
Nah,
doesn't
that's
mean
not-
he
that's
still wouldn't be a 17.
And that's the bottom
time
line, because DNA
No,
said
that's-
so.
So do
Bro,
you count Ric
he's
Flair
still a
16?
17-time champion.
Bro, I know your disdain for woo, but I'm not getting into that right now. I'm just saying it's the secondary title, bro. So I mean, it's gonna count because WWE has it as a world
It's
heavyweight
not
title.
a
But I'm
secondary
saying,
title.
bro, it's the secondary title, bro. It don't hold weight
Yeah.
like that. You know, when you walk around and say who's the champion of WWE, you say Cody Rhodes.
say
You
Cody
don't really
Rhodes.
say
That's
Gunther.
true.
Yeah, but I don't even think Cody's title.
Remember when
really
Seth
holds
had
weight.
it? Nobody really was saying Seth is a chance. Roman Reigns. Just, I don't know. It just holds a little more weight. I mean, if we're talking stats,
still-
yeah, but
They still look
you
at
know,
it as the
John-
loser
John-
brackets
John gotta get that.
champion.
John got to get that one.
They should make that illegal to say, because when Roman told him that at last year's, like, you're the best in the losers
This
bracket. Like,
bracket, that was nasty, man.
Roman.
That's crazy.
I hate to agree with DNA because I feel like a world title is a world title if it's in one company, but I definitely think he's right. It is a secondary title. I don't think Jey Uso should win it for two reasons. One, he had a 28-day Intercontinental title run, and now he's going for the world. If you want to make that title really look secondary, Jey Uso winning it is not going to help the title. You need somebody with some star power behind it. CM Punk should have won the Rumble Challenge Gunther. That would have left Seth Rollins versus Roman. That would have left, you know what I'm saying? You could figure out something to do with Jay in an
It's not a
Intercontinental title.
Just
secondary
match wise, that would have been a better matchup. CM Punk.
It's not a secondary
Gunther.
title. The IC title, the USA title, those are the secondary titles. The reason you think it's a secondary title is because neither of the champions are fired. It's not a secondary title. Like if someone else
No,
had
it's
that title,
secondary to that.
Now, when
If
Roman,
you had to rank the championships in importance,
listen, G, when Roman and Seth had it, we still wasn't. It's just it is what it
Still
is.
wasn't
It's
like-
overshadowed. We wasn't thinking about Seth.
hold on. When Seb had it though, it was much. It was
popping.
higher.
No, it was
It was
more popping than it is now. But I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, it was. Even
Bro,
when
but
Cody
You know what
said,
Hey, DNA ain't going for that.
no, think about this though,
That's
right?
Roman had that bloodline
No,
championship.
not even this though. Think about this though, right? even when Cody was going for the belt and The Rock did the swerve move, everybody was still saying, yo, if you take the belt off of Seth, you didn't finish the story. Why? Because nobody believes that belt is the belt that Roman and Cody got now.
If they were to put that belt on Cena right now, it would become the primary title. It's who's holding that.
Yes, he can elevate it. He can elevate it.
I mean,
however, WWE booking.
Look,
Not-
you
not-
know,
I
you
don't-
know that.
not
too. If
Neil
they
Jones
put that-
Like, I don't think
right now,
I don't think if you give it to Cena, it makes it primary at the moment, but he can make it that. He can work it to be that.
Yeah, 100%.
Look, and that's a Cena hater saying that. So you know that's real. He hates Cena. He just said, if you give
Cena
that belt,
had people coming in for the U.S. title. So
yes, yeah.
Yeah, but that was also
What if Roman Reigns won
That was also 20 years ago.
Don't do that. It was
Don't
a
do
long
that.
time ago.
Be like, that's what we're gonna do.
Years
All right,
ago.
don't do that. Don't do that. You see, he got the bald spot covered up.
So what if Roman Reigns were to win it though?
Yes, primary title.
and we wouldn't
Primary
see it
title.
that much. Then the other one, they'll just switch roles.
And it's the roles.
They got to do something with the champions, man. The champions look weak right now. They got to do something with them.
That's Triple H's fault. That booking is bad. You got to book monsters. Bronson Reed has been out since War Games. Braun Strowman has been putting over Jacob, so he's kind of tied up with that. All your other monsters, Drew McIntyre is doing everything but look for a belt.
Damian Priest. Yeah,
Not even
Damian-
monsters. You just need heels. There's not many heels.
I just think
It's
you
not
need
many heels.
charismatic, good people. What kind of people do you have that look? As much as people hate on the PG fucking era, right? And I've been telling y'all that that's the most slept on era. You had Randy Orton, John
ISO
Cena,
on Z.
Undertaker,
ISO
Triple
on
H,
Z,
bro.
calling
You
that
had
shit.
put the ice on me so I can defend this PG era shit. Unless Gamaj got something to say, because he came at me for a second in that ISO. But look, they had, bro, it would be a random Monday night, and you would have a fucking 6-man tag, John Cena, Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels versus fucking Randy Orton, maybe a Vladimir Kozlov. I'll give you that. But then like fucking Chris Jericho, like there were big stars everywhere you look. Like who in this era really got the shine kind of like that to hold it up? You know what I mean? Like those are like legends. And by the time they were like where some people like Drew McIntyre, I think is a good example of that. But by the time they were like where Drew McIntyre in his career, they were already certified like future Hall of Famers, legends, changed the game. They don't really have people doing like that other than Roman Reigns. I think Seth Rollins is a good example. I think Kevin Owens is a good example. But then even like Kevin Owens, they have someone like that, and he's just doing random shit in the background. He should be forefront going for those belts. And that's my rant on the PG era and why it's one of the greatest.
Jerry, it's on you, man.
That sounded good, Z. But you know what? I gotta drop a few nuggets. Yes, the PG era has some stars in it. You know what I'm saying? But coming off the Attitude Era, those stars were dwindling. And during the PG era, guess what? They were okay. John Cena led the charge. It led up to the guys like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It led to Roman Reigns. But that was some of the worst television. Sucker and succotash. They were hurting. It wasn't until they had the big dog, the Undertaker coming once a year.
That's the reality era. Don't put that succotash shit on the PG era. That's the reality era. If you're gonna do it, do it right. See, you just hating on the PG era.
It all happened in there. The one good thing that came out of the PG era was Brock Lesnar. He literally was the guy that had the shine and became the upper echelon during that time. And John Cena.
Same time as Lesnar, and Cena was the face.
Cena was the face, but you know why Cena was the face? Because there wasn't much talent, brother. The Attitude Era killed it. But in the current time,
I just named all the time. All right, bro.
But they're barely there. They were barely there.
I need a couple beverages myself.
That PG era, they were barely there. But in the current time, you do lack stars. You do have the Seth Rollins, the Roman Reigns, but unfortunately Moxley left. Unfortunately Ed left. Unfortunately Daniel Bryanson's gone. Swerve became a star elsewhere. So you're looking internally. Drew McIntyre.
Daniel Bryan definitely became a star during the PG era, by the way. But I'm gonna let you finish.
Who?
Daniel Bryan became a star during the PG era for sure.
Yeah, great.
For Nexus,
And he left. And he left. And guess what? When he got his shine, he had to force his way into it. You know what I mean? Because he was riding on the back. Who did he have to go in that WrestleMania match with? Triple H, a star of the Attitude Era. You know what I'm saying? So to get him to help him look the part. So when he went into his triple threat match later that night, it was just yes, 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 and that was great. That was a good time for him. What was that? WrestleMania 30, I think. Good time for Daniel Bryan. However, them stars are gone. They need stars now. Damian Priest is not there yet. That one world title run was cool, but he's still not there yet. He had the good match with Bad Bunny. Good. But Bad Bunny's not a threat. It just showed you that Damian Priest is a trustworthy guy that can have good matches with probably anybody. Um, Gunther was great, but you did the same thing with Cody Rhodes. WWE doesn't learn. So there's lacking of heels and there's lacking of monsters. So these champions go into the matches as the favorite. And it's a bad deal going into WrestleMania. And that's my 2 cents.
Let me ask
I
you
think it's just a big gap in the talent and the popularity of superstars these days. And you mentioned Swerve left and became a superstar elsewhere. And shout out to Swerve. He just did an interview with Vlad and he didn't hold back. We covered a week of wrestling and this just happened in wrestling. We actually got an interview with Swerve on Editorial Podcast. And he mentioned Booker T. And we got a hot tag with Booker T. So if you haven't seen our interview with Swerve, check it out. If you haven't seen our hot tag with Booker T, check it out. He said some interesting things in that interview. And shout out to Swerve.
That interview is a goodie. That interview is a good. If you like me and you like the behind the scenes looks and everything, he really. And we kind of in that era, like CM Punk does that all the time, where it's kind of like breaking kayfabe and crossing these certain lines. Where
what's the favor?
Do shit like that.
You and Jerry just had a PG era conversation when we know what era is the best, the Attitude Era. But what's the favor?
I said my take. I think the favor is him getting in that Cena and Cody match. What y'all think?
What about you, Gamont?
I have no idea. This whole thing got me confused now.
Okay. Fair enough.
Wait, hold on. I got a question for you to move on to one of the other topics to kind of tie it in. We was talking about the Usos and kayfabe. Do you think at any point Jimmy kind of like says, Naomi, what you doing over here with this whole Jade situation and gets involved in that storyline?
Nah, that's none of his business.
They never really put
seen some things. You heard how he is. He said, "No, it's none of his business."
They never really put Naomi and Jimmy together ever in the WWE.
They would have no reason to put Jimmy in that.
Well, I'm saying like they don't even, we know they married, but they don't. That's something they never really touch.
That's a funny, interesting point because we've seen other couples kind of couple it up on TV and get that brought to the forefront.